got in your hands?
Well, what have we got?
They ask and we deliver.
We're like postmen of the golf industry.
Yeah, posties. Posties. Right, what have we got in your hand then, Lester?
Well, we have got two very underrated drivers. Two that I don't know a lot about because we don't currently stock Mizuno or SRIXON.
No, not in the shop.
Not in the shop. But it's always nice to broaden the horizons a little bit and try something a bit different. So we've got a SRIXON
Z785
against the Mizuno
ST190. Okay, what lofts have we got in both of these clubs?
Okay, we've got both on standard, which is 9.5, and we've got two stiff shafts. Obviously we haven't got the same shaft in there, but we've got a Tensai 60 gram stiff in the Mizuno, and we have got a Japanese, I presume, looking at the writing, a Japanese tour issue.
Miyazaki? Is that how you say that?
That is how you say that, I'd say.
That's how you say that, okay, Miyazaki. Okay, so we're gonna put what they give us the best. That's basically when they send us these products, they give us what they feel is the best shaft to go in those heads, and all weighted up perfectly for them. So we're gonna hit some shots with these. I want to see you hit these, Bernie. I want to see what numbers you kind of get from them. I'll have a couple of hits as well, just see what they look like, what they feel like, and report them into our audience. What are you looking at?
Well, I've just noticed on the Mizuno when I put it down, it looked to me very roguey.
Yeah, you said that you kind of felt like you'd seen it before, but you haven't seen it before.
Exactly that.
So you've got the Callaway on the left and then the Mizuno on the right hand side. So you're probably looking at the fact that it's got a little bit of lipstick on the back. It's got a little bit of carbon top on it. Both very similar in shape.
Yeah, I mean the Mizuno is more stretched. I feel it's sort of looking down on it, but there's not a lot in it, to be honest. It's very, very similar looking.
Okay, and you gamed the Rogue for a little while, didn't you?
I've tried the Rogue, yeah, I quite like the Rogue.
Yeah. So Mizuno to start us off with. See what numbers we're kind of going to get with this club.
Yeah, one thing I did notice was that you can see a lot of the face. It looks a lot more lofted. It's got 9.5, which we've got it set at. Okay. But to me, you can see a lot of that face. It looks more lofted. That might give certain players a bit more confident, thinking, "Oh, I've got loft in my hands," or it appears. But I know it's 9.5. But yeah.
It's probably to do with the colouring, coming from black to that sort of off, where it's more like charcoaly, shiny grey, isn't it, down on the face there. Underrated. Why? Why are these clubs underrated?
We'd say marketing, possibly. Not marketed as much. I mean, traditionally, from a consumer point of view, I would say Mizuno not famous or not renowned for drivers. Maybe an iron company. Yeah. Doesn't take anything away from the club, but I mean, I'd be interested to know how many of the top guys are actually Mizuno guys actually gaming this driver.
Sounds good though.
Good, yeah, I like it.
I like that.
Yeah.
A little bit turny.
Turny,
yeah, still a good hit though. Right, let's move you on to the SRIXON now. You've hit a few shots with that Mizuno. First impressions, you're quite happy, aren't you, with that one?
To be honest, I would like to see the numbers, but I really like that.
And have you hit that before? Have you
Never.
Have you snuck down into the studio and had a little pop with that or not?
Probably one of the only ones I haven't.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Underrated, you see. Gamed a SRIXON before?
Not a driver. I've tried the ball. Tried the irons as well, but never the driver.
Have you played the irons?
Not played them, but I've tried them. That is it's almost like for me that's almost like a throwback. It seems like a very small head. That is a deep driver. It's very round. It's very rounded, but it appears visually so much smaller than the Mizuno. Almost.
So when you see a driver that's more, let's say, stretched back,
yeah,
what is that driver going to? Do you feel that driver's going to give you?
Well, you're moving the centre of gravity further back in the head, so obviously affecting spin.
A fraction more spin.
Yeah.
And then obviously with a shorter sort of length from front to back, you're going to start to see a deeper in the face, CG closer to the face. Maybe we're starting to see maybe a difference in spin numbers.
Possibly, it'd be interesting to see. But yeah. I like traditional looking golf clubs, and that to me is almost like an early 2000 throwback to, what the drivers that people were gaming then. So someone who likes, say, traditional looking driver doesn't want something that looks a little bit, you know, space age, might actually like that. Look at that, I really like that.
Good sound. To me, it sounds almost identical to the Mizuno. Wasn't a great deal of difference in the sound of that.
No.
You said in the previous one it felt like it felt hot off the face.
Yeah.
Is this feeling the same?
No, this feels more solid.
So more solid as in more like dead?
Dead, yeah.
Okay.
The other one, the Mizuno, felt more, it had like a almost spring-loaded fitting face.
Okay.
Very light. This one feels there's something actually behind the club.
Let's have a little look at your numbers and see what these are coming out at. Right, Lester, so these are your numbers. So Mizuno at the top here, 159.7 ball speed off the face compared to 163. So getting a little bit more ball speed out of that SRIXON than you are the Mizuno. If you look, what's really interesting, so remember you're getting a 3 mile an hour quicker off the face, but your swing speed is 1 mile an hour slower with the SRIXON than it is the Mizuno. Interesting. But look at your launches. Look, 16 degrees in launch with the these are both 9.5 drivers. 16 degrees of launch with the Mizuno compared to 13, so 14 degrees in launch with the SRIXON. So 2 degrees difference in launch. 13 millimeters high compared to 6 millimeters high. So obviously, as that club moves up, as you hit it higher in the face, you're increasing loft. Okay. So it's probably more to do with the fact that you're striking it just a little bit higher in the face, which then will affect your spin numbers as well. So if you look here, if you look at your Mizuno, so you're launching it higher, and now your spin is at 2366, and you're launching it slightly lower and spinning it at 2559. So lower launch, potentially higher spin, higher launch, potentially lower spin, which is what you're kind of getting from that. So if we go across here though, peak heights 46 yards high with the Mizuno, but based on the fact that you're hitting it, launching it higher, it's going higher. And then 42 yards high, so launching it lower, going lower. But look at the carry distances. So 281 carry compared to 281 carry. So they're pretty much the same, and then, you know, so we're getting the same results as a yardage point of view. If you take best to best, what have you got here? A 290 compared to a 289. So good numbers there from both those drivers. Which one would you game?
They're both literally
after you've seen the numbers. Let's see.
After seeing the numbers, I'd probably want to take the Mizuno and de-loft it by maybe a degree, half a degree, see what difference that made.
Okay.
But not a lot in it. Both very similar for me. I don't know. I prefer the look of the SRIXON, so probably the SRIXON over the Mizuno.
So I agree with Lester. Initial looks, he liked the SRIXON over the Mizuno, and the performances are very, very similar in both of them. Again, you could play around if you were fitting Lester. You'd sort of play around with the lofts on both of them to see which one could potentially come out a little bit better. But there's nothing in it from what we're getting from the actual drivers themselves. But I think probably when you get something that close, it's best to go on looks and feels over necessarily what the numbers are bringing in, because it's basically the same. For Lester, you got to remember that he's moved from a very low spinning driver into something that spins a fraction more for him. And I would suggest that possibly going into something that's spinning just that fraction more is going to give him a little bit more confidence when he gets out onto the golf course. But again, that's subject to each individual when you're testing these clubs. Let me know, have you been out and tested these two clubs? Are they really an underdog? Not from the numbers that we're getting here. These are as good a numbers what Lester's getting with these anything in this studio. So should they be an underdog? Absolutely not. Are they an underdog? Potentially from the marketing side of things of what the companies bring to the table. But let me know, put your comments down below. What do you think of these two clubs? Thank you very much for watching. We look forward to catching up with you again soon.